Welcome to Strictly Boxing with Derek Poppy Roline. Here I am out in Las Vegas with Frank Stayer. He runs the gym at Top Rank Gym. What's up, my man? How you doing, Frank? How's everything with you, man?
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be on your show. I'm a big fan. I tell just reminiscing. So it's good to have a champ like yourself here, man, in the presence of Top Rank Gym.
I appreciate that, man. How does it feel, man, to be involved with so many champions, working with Top Rank? Top Rank has been there for so long, man. They got a lot of trainers, a lot of experience. How does it feel running the gym and being able to see the fighters and know them on a personal level?
It's great. First, you got to have a love for boxing, which I do, and it's still there's a big fan of boxing inside of me, and it doesn't get old. I get used to being around great fighters, but sometimes you got to take a second and realize how surreal it is to be around some of these great fighters currently and in the past, like yourself, and just to like soak it up. Again, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work. I don't want to sit here and tell people, I'm sitting here partying. I'm miserable most days. You know what I mean? So it's a lot to, at the high level. This is where from experience. This is where what you see on television, what you see on ESPN and other networks. This is where it starts. This is ground zero. This is where champions are created. So to get to see these current and future world champions train, work, and prepare for fights of the years, brawls, just sensational performances is great.
And you get to know them on a personal level, and you deal with them on a day-to-day basis. So I'm not going to ask you to make any favorite fighters choices or anything like that, but I do want to know about.
Oh, I can make favorite fighters. I'll get them on the net. We'll do another video, and then I'll have new favorite fighters next time.
Yeah,
so it's
okay.
all right.
Who do you think right now is the biggest thing out there right now in boxing?
There's a lot. It's really hard. If you want to go pound for pound, obvious it's Terrence Bud Crawford at number one.
Okay.
Just nobody's ever done in male boxing what he has done. Two-time undisputed champion. He's undefeated. He made such light work out of Errol Spence in the last fight. And again, he's a generational talent. He's 20, 30 years from now, we're going to be talking about Terrence Crawford being one of the best ever. So,
he definitely got some.
So I say like that. Him, if you want to go that. But if you want to go some of the young fighters coming up, there's Devin Haney, there's Shakur Stevenson.
What do you think about those two?
I think they're the two of the guys.
You got to include Tank in those three.
Oh, absolutely. I know Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson on a personal level. And along with Gervonta Davis, Tank Davis, they're carrying the sport right now. They're 5 years from now, I think they're going to be the guys that are really keeping the sport together, keeping it at that, that mainstream level.
Right.
So we're blessed to have such great young fighters that I think are only going to get better as the years go.
Right. They're young, still young.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing, man. When you mentioned Crawford, right? I have to agree with everything you said about Crawford and fighting Spence. He made it look so easy. Is it really worth seeing another one?
No. I don't. Me personally, I don't want to see it. But these guys sign contracts with rematch clauses. Right. So if it's mandatory that they have that rematch and all parties come to an agreement, I think we can kind of.
So I don't give
him much of a chance. This is boxing. Anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? It could be, Crawford made such easy work. Something might happen to where it's not as easy this time. And I think for just the legacy of the sport, I don't think it needs to happen because it was such a definitive ass beating the first time. Why are we going to run it back? I could see if it was a competitive fight and Crawford fought him along the end.
I was in total agreement with you. Then I started watching the fight over again, and I started really watching it. And then I said, you know what? Spence threw some punches that really missed by inches. Like if he just an inch away, could have changed the whole fight. Maybe in the rematch that inch might just, you never know.
Yeah, he might be able to prepare, but I think mentally, in such a big fight, that's going to take its effect on a fighter because it's the mental game is also something you really got to take in consideration. You've been around a bunch of fighters. A lot of fighters these days, they can't recover from a loss, especially their first loss.
Especially a knockout, right?
And then to go right into an immediate rematch with the person who gave you your first loss, it's you doubt yourself. It's there's just so many things with that. I would say if Spence was and his team wanted to do it the right way. Let him go have a tune-up, see how he reacts to coming back from his first loss, and then go and avenge. Your
Yeah, I
defeat.
talked to so many people out there interview with that said the same exact thing. You mentioned Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, right? Now, both of them got some fights coming up in the near future. Next week we got Shakur Stevenson versus De Los Santos, and then on December 9th we got Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis. What do you think about those two fights?
Oh, they're very good fights. I mean, obviously, I favor the fighters that I had mentioned, but I don't think they're easy fights by any stretch. I think Edwin De Los Santos is going to be a stiff challenge for Shakur, but Shakur is such a talented
Hard to hit.
boxer. Yeah, and I don't think he's going to let him get in there, but I think De Los Santos is going to give Shakur some fits, maybe certain rounds, but I expect like a clear decision, 12 rounds. Maybe
Go the distance.
maybe Shakur even pulls out a stoppage.
Okay. And Devin Haney?
Devin Haney, I'm in camp with Devin Haney, so I get to see him every day, and I like to,
He's looking big, man.
reiterate.
I see the video. He looked too big to be fighting at the 35. He doesn't want to let the 35 belts go.
No, but it's why he's this is why he's moving up to 140 for this fight against the champ Regis Prograis. And I think we get to see how Devin is 5 pounds heavier than his usual weight. I expect a boxing clinic, but the thing is Regis Prograis is the hardest puncher that Devin has ever
With
fought.
both hands.
With both
He's
hands.
not a joke either.
And it's a dangerous 12 rounds for Devin. But Devin's going to be on his P's and Q's, and his defense is going to be impeccable. And it's another one. I think the safe bet is a unanimous decision for Devin Haney. But the way Devin's been training, and if all goes well from now until December 9th, we could very well see a Devin Haney stoppage win over Regis Prograis.
Okay, all right. Well, one more fight we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to let you go. There's a fight coming up the week after Shakur fight. We got Andre is fighting. Help me out.
David Benavidez.
David Benavidez versus
Demetrius Andrade.
What do you think about that? That's top rank. Is that top rank?
No, that's a PBC card.
Okay.
David Benavidez is, guy's like a freight train, and but I think we saw a little bit of. I don't want to say him being. I don't like to say a fighter's exposed, but the style that Caleb Plant had when he fought with him. If Caleb Plant was able to maintain and kind of stay away from the power of David Benavidez, he might have had better success that night. But he kind of faded away towards the end.
Andre's a good fighter
Andrade
too.
is he's a great fighter. It's a 2008 Olympian.
Right.
So 15 years.
He's a hard puncher too.
A 15-year veteran, undefeated, and this is the first big fight I think that he's had in his entire career.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. It's a tough fight. I favor David Benavidez, but I wouldn't be shocked if Demetrius Andrade pulls off the upset.
So you think boxing is doing really well now with a lot of big fights? They starting off with a lot of guys starting to fight each other now. It's not like everybody trying to protect that zero now.
You got to have the concern with these fighters what they do in their personal lives. That's the thing is we got to hope these guys stay out of trouble. So the guys that we mentioned and all these other younger fighters coming out, if they can stay on the path and want to become millionaires, that's the whole goal. You want to be a world champion, want to be millionaires, and you keep that goal. You don't mess around with all the extracurricular activities.
That is so important in boxing, and I say to all the young fighters that if you just keep your head on right, man, and it just seems like when you get the money and you get the title, it's like all that stuff comes towards you, man. It comes to get you. Like then you get a lot of the rappers, you get drugs, you get women, you get everything coming into you.
I was going to say the main thing is the relationships, because you have men and women in boxing, and relationships are one of a young fighter. Is a career killer. So these youngsters that get into these relationships early and they fall in love, and maybe the person that they're with doesn't understand what they're doing on a day-to-day in their career, and it messes with them mentally. Going back to us discussing the mental aspect.
And you think you saying that? Of course, we talk about one other fighter. Now on the same card with Benavidez and Andre, Jamal Charlo is making a return. And he had two years off, so that right there could be to exactly what we're talking about, where we don't know what the 2 years off, right? You know, he had layoffs. He said it was some mental stuff, but we don't know. Is it could be lifestyle?
It's that as well. I mean, look, I don't want to. Right, nowadays, you know, back when you were fighting, mental illness wasn't a thing. If you had mental illness, you were in a jacket that tied your arms behind you. Nowadays, it's different. Nowadays, the things that we had suffered from back in the day are now considered, you know, clinical illnesses. So I don't want to, you know, maybe it has something to do with lifestyle. Maybe he parties too much. You know, he's a former world, I think a current former world champion, but still undefeated. You know, I always tell fighters, don't party. When I see these fighters that win their 10th pro fight and they're having after parties, I say, what the hell are you celebrating? You know what I'm saying? You're 10-0, you just beat some guy that you're supposed to beat. When you become a world champion, your bank account's filled, then you can celebrate. Then I'm not going to criticize you and judge you if you're going to have a drink or whatever. I don't recommend it. But a lot of these guys, they like to live in excess. And I don't want to say that's Jermell Charlo's case, but we'll give it to him. He had mental illnesses. Maybe it's something with a relationship.
Well,
I heard something about relationship.
That can have damages on the guy. But I hope he's doing well, you know, in terms of his physical and mental condition. I hope he's better. People say that Jose Benavidez is going to beat him.
That's a tough one. Jose Benavidez, I thought he did real good in that Creed movie as an actor. I think he was one of the surprising. I thought the movie sucked, but I thought Jose Benavidez. But I thought Jose Benavidez. I thought his performance was great for a boxer. It was one of the best boxing acting performances I've seen. So, you know, I give him credit for that. And no offense to the Creed movie, it's good. But I'm in the real stuff, and it's a little fantasy to me. But regarding that, it's a big jump. He's a former welterweight. He fought Terrence Crawford for the welterweight title. Now he's moving up to middleweight or super middleweight? Middleweight. So it's a big jump. And his activity hasn't been so great. He's lost to Danny Garcia, had a draw. And I think he won his last fight, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm looking to tune in to see it, you know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight. I hope tomorrow's okay. And
yeah, me too.
I got to agree with you. One thing I wanted to touch base before we end our interview is I think it's the young guys getting a lot of money that causes a lot of problems too, especially if you don't have the guidance of somebody teaching you on what to do with your money and how to manage it and how to kind of invest it, because that money can do some damage into you. Next thing you know, you're thinking
it's too much too soon. What do you have to fight for, you know? And then you're young, you're 25, 26, 21, 22, whatever, and you got millions of dollars. You're thinking you're on top of the world, you can do whatever you want, and then when the realization that you have to get back into that dungeon and start from scratch and go into that dark place, which is preparing for combat, and that's what a lot of these guys I think a fighter should be a fighter 24/7. It's okay to disconnect and take a break.
It's a lifestyle.
Once in a while, we all need to disconnect and go off grid, but if you're still active, I think you should just maintain being a fighter. And then when you're 30, 35, 40 years old, then live like a kid. You got all the money, you got all the spoils of life. You spend it, buy, your family's set, and then do whatever you want. Do all the drugs and have all the relationships, unprotected sex, whatever, man. Go do whatever it is. But right now, I think if they start too soon with the drinking, the partying, the relationships,
it's hard to come back once you do.
Yeah.
That's in any sports. I think in all sports. If you go athlete, you got to live the athlete's life. Listen, I think Bob Arum got the right guy running the top-ranked gym. Your insight on his boxing has been impeccable. It's really good. I'm understanding everything you say, and I can relate to you to know that what you're saying is actual facts. All right. Now, if I say your last name wrong, Stale. Right?
Get my first name right first, champ. Come on. Inside joke.
Frank Taylor. You hear from top trainer in Las Vegas, Nevada. Here he is at the gym, top ranked.
We're gonna forgive my man Derek here. We're gonna forgive him.
We're gonna try to do it right, but we're gonna spend more time with him.
I had a good time. We gotta do this again. Check it out. Like, subscribe, hit the notifications.
Right. See that? I love that right there. That's what it is. Like and subscribe. Peace. Lovely. Great.